Roommate Wars, the epic Cold War in Dorm 402. The move-in at the University of Lagos was a chaotic symphony of high hopes and heavy iron trunks. Adesua and Funka stood in the center of dorm 402, surrounded by the scent of floor wax and the hum of a buzzing ceiling fan. They laughed, promising to be the legendary roommates who never fought. It was a beautiful, symmetrical lie, framed by the harsh Nigerian sun hitting their Ghana must-go bags. Adesua was a creature of the dawn, moving with the rhythmic precision of a ticking clock. At 5 a.m., she was a silhouette against the pre-dawn blue, her movements silent as she prepared for early lectures. Her desk was a sanctuary of order, pencils sharpened to lethal points and textbooks stacked by size. To her, the day began with a clean slate and a prayer. Funke, however, lived in the neon flicker of the night. When the campus fell silent, she came alive, her side of the room becoming a vibrant, chaotic workshop. By 2 a.m., she was buried under a landscape of open textbooks, tangled charging cables, and the steam from a bowl of spicy Indomie noodles. To her, the mess was the fertile soil from which her best ideas grew. The first tremor in their piece occurred at the shared mini-fridge. Adesua found a plastic container of jollof rice that had begun to develop its own fuzzy green ecosystem. She didn't say a word. Instead, she placed a neon pink sticky note on the door, its edges sharp and demanding, "This is a dorm, not a biology lab." Funka, arriving home from a late-night study session, stared at the note as if it were a declaration of war. She didn't clean the fridge. Instead, she grabbed a thick black marker. Communication shifted from spoken words to a frantic mosaic of adhesive squares. She slapped a blue note onto the mirror. "Some of us have lives that don't revolve around bleach." By mid-semester, the room was physically bisected. Adesua, driven by a need for visual boundaries, used a roll of stark white masking tape to divide the floor. She knelt on the tiles, smoothing the tape with military focus. The line ran straight from the door to the window, a literal border between the sterile laboratory of her life and Funka's jungle. Finals week turned dorm 402 into a pressure cooker. The air was thick with the smell of over-roasted coffee and the hum of two laptops working in different time zones. They lived in a heavy, cold silence, moving around the room like two planets forced into the same orbit, careful never to let so much as a toe cross the white tape line. The collapse came at 3 a.m. during a sudden tropical thunderstorm. A massive crack of thunder was followed by the dreaded click of the power going out. "Upnepa," Funka grumbled sarcastically in the pitch blackness as her laptop screen died. She sat frozen, the total darkness making the small room feel suddenly vast and lonely. Adesua fumbled for her emergency rechargeable lantern. The beam cut through the shadows to find Funka sitting on the floor, looking small. In the narrow circle of light, the tape line was invisible. Adesua sat down in the neutral zone and offered a bag of plantain chips. For the first time in months, they talked. Not through notes, but with the quiet honesty of the exhausted. The power eventually returned, but the geography of the room had changed. The tape remained on the floor as a souvenir, but the tension had evaporated. Adesua still woke at dawn, but she moved more softly. Funka was still messy, but she kept the biological hazards out of the fridge. It wasn't the perfect symmetry they'd imagined, but it was a realistic, hard-won piece.